Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Alright, well, we have a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get this over with. I'll see you in the chair. Look at me. What am I doing here today? I no longer see a point in denying it. I am injured. My hand is injured, and there's no way around it. There's no waiting it out or pushing through the pain, because I've been doing that, and it's been getting worse. I think the only thing that I can do now is actually take actions to protect my hand. I have to stop playing guitar, or I say stop playing guitar. I have to stop playing with my left hand, specifically, which is really sad, because that's a really important hand for playing the guitar. You kind of need it to play anything other than the E minor pentatonic scale, or an open E minor 11 chord. So that's going to be a challenge. It's very sad. I'll go ahead and address the title, because I'm probably going to title this to make it seem like this is going to be the last log for a long time. There's going to be a log tomorrow. I'm never going to stop making practice logs. This is my life now, and this is your life too. You're here for the ride, so buckle up. It's never going to end until one of us dies. And that could actually be sooner than you think, based on how many diet sodas I drink every week, with rum in them. I have to change my routine a bit, and I have some plans for what I'm going to change it to, and I'll go ahead and explain that to you. And I hope that this also kind of serves as, you know, you're going to get injured one day. Don't think that you're not, because I thought that I wasn't. Remember how cocky I was, saying like I never get injured? I've never been injured, and I haven't. But to be fair, I've been practicing my booty off for like 6 months straight, basically practicing every day for like long hours. So, you know, something was bound to happen, especially with how reckless I've been with my left hand. I feel like I've been putting a lot of attention to my right hand, and my left hand, I just kind of let it smack around wherever. So that needs to change. I have to get really careful with it. But yeah, I'm going to change my routine a bit. So I'll go ahead and explain that to you. I'll explain what my routine is. That's what today is going to be. If you ever get a left hand injury like me, maybe you can kind of emulate this, because I think it's going to be pretty solid. Oh, and by the way, if you didn't know, it's my thumb. So basically, I think I was trying to get some like decent recordings of the Morel Sonatina, and I kept just restarting and restarting, playing like full force. And I think my thumb just like gave out after a while. So right now I feel some pain. And at first it started here, but I've been pushing it, and now it's starting to go here. And now I'm like, okay, maybe we should just not do that anymore. We don't want to go any further than that. I don't want it to get to my heart and then it'll kill me. Okay, so this new practice routine. I have several right hand techniques that I'd like to get better at. First one is the lute trill, and I'm actually working on a secret project right now that's very lute trill intensive. So I'm going to work through all the patterns that I need for that. No left hand, all just the trills and the patterns. And I'll also be working on the standard lute trill. I'll probably do the lute trill stuff like morning and night. The other thing, the main thing I'm going to be working on tonight is the Morel Sonatina. This part, where I have to do that stuff. I've been doing IM and PA. I think it's going to be better if I do IA and then PM. So there's no weird like stretch between I and M. But that'll be a thing. I have a week to work on that now, because I plan on doing this new routine for about a week. And then I think another night session thing I'm going to work on. I'm going to go back to Villa-Lobos Etude 1, just the right hand. So no left hand, which is fine because the left hand is pretty easy. And I'm going to do that like playing it the standard way. They dotted rhythms with that. On top of that, I am going to be reading these, and I'm going to refresh on left hand stuff there. Just kind of confirm how I feel, because I know how I should hold my left hand. Like I know what my thumb is supposed to be doing, but the simple fact is I've just been introducing too much tension. I've just been pressing down harder and harder, and it's just something that kind of creeps up after a while. And this, even though it's an injury that's bad enough to where I can't play, it's still, I think, an early warning sign of something bad that could happen if I don't get on this right now. So I'm taking this extremely seriously. So I will be refreshing on the left hand technique stuff, and I have a bunch of music back there, stuff that I also want to assign. I'm gonna look for a slur study. I need to beef up my slur studies, because I feel like I don't have enough of them right now, like for assigning. So I'm going to go through quite a few of them and see if there are any that I like. So when I'm practicing, you'll see a split between me and the piano bench and me at this table reading and scanning documents. On top of doing all that, every practice session that I do, I am going to read through the score and visualize playing one piece per session. So for me to go through like, I don't know, Julia Florida, it might take me like 25 minutes to visualize through the whole thing. But every practice session, I will be visualizing through one piece piece. I think that that'll be pretty good for like retaining all that I've learned so far. Which, by the way, this is actually something that I want to touch on later, because you might have noticed I have a lot of music that I work on, and it's like, how do you work on that every day? The answer is I don't. I work on my music. Honestly, the average piece, once I get it like memorized and down, I probably work on it like once a week. That first hour is when I like pick a piece. It's like, okay, today is Morel Sonatina Movement 1. Today is the day out of the week that I'm gonna work hardcore on that, and so on. Like, I don't hardcore work on like 4 pieces in a row. That's just not how it works. So this is basically going to be the same thing as that. I'm going to pick one of my pieces every day. Today, it might be Morel Sonatina 1. You're not going to hear any of it, I guess, because I can't play anything for you. And I'm hoping that by the time I go through all my pieces, that'll be approximately like 8 to 10 days. We'll reassess where my hand is at. And if I feel that I'm ready to start playing, okay, I'm going to ease into it. I'll probably start maybe even a day of just like scales. I don't know. Just something really, really light and easy. And then I'll try to go into my pieces and come into it with a new, careful mindset with my thumb. Yeah, so my life is going to suck for a little bit. We're of course going to continue doing all the usual stuff like reacting to videos. Today I'm not going to react to anything because I'm just explaining what the dealio is going forward. And this practice routine I'm talking about, it will be flushed out more later today, like when I hit the books over here, because I haven't even picked out any Giuliani arpeggio patterns to work on yet, but there are just little techniques that I'm going to work on, and we'll see how that goes. And then I know visualization will be a thing. I'm going to do a lot of visualizing this week. Now might be a perfect time to analyze all the Bach that I've been working on. That sucks. This is an opportunity to work on stuff that I might not have time to work on otherwise. If you're someone like me who came from electric guitar first for like several years, you probably find that your left hand is a little more developed than your right hand anyways, because I didn't start playing with my right hand until I was like 18 or 19. That's like 6 or 7 years, like 6 years really. I just turned 26 versus like 14 or 15 years for my left hand. It's not the worst thing ever. And you might be wondering too, like, if I don't use my left hand for like a week to 10 days, will I just forget how to do everything? I think not, because I've gone that long without playing before. Like over Christmas break, I think it was like 2 weeks, and I'm talking about my Christmas break, the one that I give myself. I took 2 weeks off. You remember that if you were there. And I basically played guitar twice. Like while I was at my dad's house, I didn't play anything, and I didn't forget anything. Like I came back and it felt normal. It's easy to forget that, especially with terms like muscle memory. Your muscles don't actually have memory. Like really what's happening, it's the neurons like going from your brain to your fingers, and they're like activating. Those movements are stored in your brain, not your fingers. I do truly believe with practice you can visualize, and it is just as effective, if not more effective and beneficial than actually playing the physical instrument. Like when you visualize, you're essentially running the machine that is your body on like test mode, where it's not actually executing any of the moves. The process is still happening, which is good because then you don't get like injured, like because you're not like degrading the machine. But it's all the same stuff. Like muscle memory is kind of a funny term. Everything's decided in your brain, and I still have my brain. My brain isn't injured, thankfully, so I can still play the guitar. The best guitar, the guitar that is in my head, I can still play that one. That's the one I'm going to be playing for a while, and I'll still be playing the real guitar, but only with my right hand. It is a weird concept, because I'm sure that if you've never done that, you might think like, how could you possibly learn stuff without actually playing the guitar? I teach children how to play scales without ever having them play scales before. I teach them what a position is on the fretboard, and they like figure out how to play the position, and then I'll just have them say the fingerings for a scale out loud. It'll be on sheet music, or sometimes I'll use like a chord diagram, and if you can say those fingerings out loud from memory, pretty much guaranteed that you'll be able to actually play it on the instrument, because you're essentially just playing it without executing the moves yet. Who knows, maybe I'll pick like an etude and try learning it completely away from the guitar, because I've never actually done that before, but I always hear stories of people doing it, and it would be cool to try that. This is all stuff I'll figure out when I'm sitting in the table here. We'll reassess after this practice session. I'll have a more clear idea of exactly how I'm going to break everything up. I'm just kind of telling you my ideas right now. That's everything. God, this is gonna suck. Yep, not a funny one. No jokes today. My life's gonna be hard for a while. I'm sure you'll stick through it with me. And who knows, you might be injured too. And if you are, I'm sorry, but maybe you can copy some of what I'm doing. Tell me your experience. Okay, it's time for me to end this. We'll talk more about it later, I'm sure. So, let's go ahead and make our way to the piano bench. I'll see you there. I already know what you're thinking. Am I injured because of the ergo play after all the praises I gave it? No. And watch your mouth. Yeah, and I'll show you some of my practice once I'm done with this one. You can see I'm tuning with my knuckles right now, because I just don't want to use my thumb. I am going to start with I Am Rhythms on One String. Woo! I'll see you on the other side. Okay, I think I'm ready to call it. Oh, I've been all around the apartment today. Let me bring you closer. Let me give you a little lesson in something. I did all the arpeggio work that I talked about, and I found some nice slur etudes that I visualized. I didn't actually visualize through my Morel or anything, but I did through some simple etudes. Let me move you up a little bit. One piece that I get questions about sometimes, that Villa-Lobos etude that I said that I was just practicing. And I'll go through some of the stuff that I do with that. First thing, it's 16 notes in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then it repeats again. So I like to break it up into fours. P, I, P, I, P, M, I, A, M, A, I, M. I have to think. P, I, P, I think. Yeah, ends with P, I, P, I. I do like just isolating them and then like dotted rhythms. Alright, you got that. Then a really good way to practice those is accent one of the notes. And so on, doing that for all of them. Now, when you're actually playing the piece, which this is something that I hear so much, I think that it should be evenly divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then... So you should hear it like that. The accent should be on 1, 9, 1, 9. Something that I hear that's really common is this. Accent on 1, accent on 8. So it's like da 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 da. I feel like it's just easy to bring out that A a little too loud because you're kind of building up to it. And then you just like whip it with your A finger. But you have to keep that really controlled. And then bring out that right there. If you're curious how long I've been playing that piece, almost as long as I've been playing classical guitar, so like 5 years, and I've probably sunk like 500 hours into practicing, so I'm pretty good with that arpeggio. And let me tell you, it did not start out good, and even where I have it now, it's still like kind of okay. It's kind of mid. I can't play through the whole piece with like no missed notes whatsoever. Like some recordings that you hear, I would like to be able to play that like super solid. It's not like I work on it, but it's one of those pieces that you just, pretty hard to forget, especially once you practice it so much. It's just like a chord progression and then a pattern. Kind of reminds me of one of the listenings that we just did, Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto 1. Remember that? So I want my arpeggio to sound like this arpeggio here, where accent on the bum 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 bum. Ah, I was about to reach for my guitar to start playing it, but I can't right now. Getting desperate. I just spent like kind of a long time doing that. Okay, what was I doing? Oh my god. God, I really want to play guitar again. I hate my life right now. This sucks. I can't imagine people who like permanently can't play guitar. Because I was straight up playing a keyboard and like feeling like kind of euphoric doing it. Just because I was able to produce a melody and like improvise. So that's a bad. I'm gonna ice my thumb for the night, and then I'm gonna go to bed. There's not really much else to talk about. We're gonna do more like normal programming going forward. I know that this one is like kind of just chair, and then like I didn't play anything for you really, and then that was pretty much it. Maybe I'll work on my Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto 2 guitar expansion. And yes, it is an expansion, not a reduction. That was a joke I had with the fellas in the guitar program. I think we can wrap this up. Let's go ahead and put it into this thing. I'm gonna go to bed. Hopefully I'll heal up a little bit for tomorrow morning. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Hey, well, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. I should switch hands. There we go. It's a little bit easier on my hand. Hey, want some guitar lessons? I'll teach you how to play guitar. Well, wouldn't you like that? That's another thing that's unfortunate too, because I try to play well to like encourage people to want lessons with me, but that's just not going to be the case right now. I mean, you know, we're going to see if I can rehab my hand, and if I can, then that's like pretty valuable if I'm able to do that. It's not all just like shredding and having fun. Sometimes you got to do stuff like this. Yeah, of course, comment questions, feel free to leave those. I have one that I'm going to answer tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Whoa. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.